wide range of support for the community events. So it is a very good, useful, it goes into what we're talking about here.
Okay. Going to feedback from citizens. We had the town hall meetings when needed. And that's ongoing, like did we host one in 2019? IDP, we had an IDP meeting for sure. So we did have that. Yep. They held the IDP meetings and then,
ICFs.
yeah. Did we have one on ICF?
Yeah, it was all open.
Oh, okay.
Open meetings.
Marijuana one was last year, 2018, right?
Right.
Okay. Because that was a public meeting, and that's one of the public meetings I was thinking about.
I think some of them were held during 2019, though, like early in 2019.
The IDP.
Yeah, because we were meeting at the Legion Hall, so.
Okay, conduct online surveys. Did we do 2 in 2019?
Yep,
We
we
only
did
did
the
one.
rebranding,
Oh, yeah.
or that was a survey.
Oh, that was in January, wasn't it?
Huh?
Was it in January they did that one?
It's funny if we can look up, it wasn't online, but it was at the part of it.
We
Gun
did
show
the
was
gun
last year.
show.
The gun show was last year.
April, yeah.
That was April 2018. It
No,
wasn't.
and 19.
Late 19.
Oh, no, we didn't do
No,
a survey.
I don't remember one this year.
Yeah, we
I thought it was last year. So what was it on? I didn't see the results of that.
Yes, it was. Yes, we had a survey this year.
Budget one.
It was on all our services.
Yeah,
It was
what
like, how do you rate all our
services?
services?
Okay, that's when we also went around to the community and handed out too.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Okay.
We did that one. So we did the services, how they rated them.
And then we voted on the rebranding.
Oh, yeah, we did the,
Holy, we've been busy.
so we have gotten some feedback that way. We talked before about doing an open house with council, and we scrapped that because nobody was really wanting to do it. So that one is done. Is there anything? So before we go to, I guess the next thing, feedback from citizens, anything else on that? No? Okay, moving on to informing the public of town activities. Updates on the radio. Well, we know that that's been canceled by the radio station. They haven't been inviting us to it anymore.
When did they cancel it?
Oh, there's,
We got an email from Christian Sundberg, and he is actually interested in having you back to talk about a couple events coming up.
oh, yeah, there was one on the food bank, right?
Yes.
Just promote the food bank, but that's, I guess, that's not really
That's him
all of the
approaching
town
us,
activities.
not us approaching them.
That's
There's a
right.
difference there.
Yeah.
He basically stopped you when they started negotiations to increase our budget, and we said no.
Yes. That in a
And the
nutshell,
new, and
that's
the
it.
new owners took over, I think it was.
What's
Was
that?
it new owners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we've lost that opportunity, so this is not ongoing. So unless we wanted to pay to go on and do it, then we're not going there, and the way they've handled it, I don't know if I really want to go there anymore. It just, it's not the right way to do business. Update in Southeast News. We haven't done one a month.
Are we, when we look at what we previously did on that, I just have a question, and that is, did they include, if you did do your update, did they include that in their online version as well, or was it just paper version? Because they do have both.
I don't know for sure where they put it.
Because it would be interesting to find out if you have multiple, like if they allow you to go back in again, if we would get consideration for both their online and the paper vote. That way we solve some of the techie problems too, that remember we were saying a lot of people will not necessarily read the paper, but they'll go on the online version and read something. I'm just wondering if it'd be better that, if we can work something out, if that is what the council wants.
Yeah, like I said, we can talk, that's a good discussion. Do we want to do it? And then it takes a lot of time to draft it up and the right number of words and stuff, because you only get 500 words, and you gotta be under the words, what do you want to focus on and get through it. And I think the last one was before summer there, and I don't think we did it over the summer, so it's been a few months since.
Almost due.
Yeah. Almost.
Almost due.
You could renegotiate with them on it, if you think it's worthwhile.
Oh, well, the paper has never,
No, renegotiate the number of words and when it's due and stuff like that. It could be a once a month thing as opposed to every week, or something that fits into your
yeah.
schedule.
we could
So
do
that's what I'm
that.
saying, renegotiate, so it gives you more time to
Yeah,
put stuff together.
yeah, could do that. Okay, well, I'll put that down as one of my action items to work on that one. Or does it have to be, I guess, well, it says from council. Yeah, well, we'll leave it at that for now. I was just thinking if it should come from the town, I'm almost a little bit like what we do in the newsletter and take the highlights out of the newsletter in there or something.
Each counselor could do a report, and it wouldn't be so much pressure on one person. You split it up, there's 7 of you.
I think the CEO should do it every time.
Yeah.
Could we not use part of it as also promotion of upcoming events for us, like a strategic planning meeting, things like that, so that we're showing that we have particular meetings?
Yeah, well, that's part of our newsletter too, is what's coming
Once
up.
again, if it's in the newspaper, that's an extra way to communicate with the public.
Yeah.
But I seriously would like, if you're gonna do it that way, I'd like to make sure we can get both the print and the internet media.
I guess what I'm saying is maybe what we do is find a way to summarize the key points from our newsletter each month and put it in there. Right, because that's really some of the highlights, right, of what's going on, any big.
Absolutely.
So that in any important meetings I go,
That's
like
right.
we have a bylaw, we gotta pass something to say we need something like this, so that people in the community, we use every access point.
Why isn't the newsletter just in the paper?
Well, everybody gets it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could, and it's way too many words.
One page.
Yeah. So that's what we can do, is just take the monthly newsletter, the highlights, put it in there, and that's basically what we've been doing before, right? Just taking the highlights and putting it out. Okay, council's Facebook page. I haven't seen Debbie put that out lately, saying anybody want to make changes, did we get one? Yeah, she's been putting it in, okay. So that's ongoing.
I didn't think that way.
We had our booth in the gun show, and that was completed in 2019. We've got the citizens engagement best decorated home for Halloween, that's done. All right, and it's going to be done.
Should we put with the gun show, the fact that we want to make sure we're involved with the rodeo every time? Rodeo parade, because it is I mean, we have to be asked to be at the gun show anyway, but they also send us rodeo to make sure.
Those things have been going on for 30 years, it's not anything unique.
Well, as I said, you had written it down, so
Yeah.
I got that one on there too.
Citizens welcome package, work with the chamber, Brian Gilroy, anything happen there?
No, not yet, but we were talking, for the council members who were not here this morning, we were looking at the possibility of, at least with AHS, trying to figure out a way to discover who the new AHS employees are so that we can welcome them in. And I think we need to try and reach out to other areas so that we can find some sort of avenue. Not necessarily the new welcome package, but a way of maybe even hosting a welcome event every so often. Was it 2 years ago we did the day at the, or we think we're doing a day at the snow, at Ski Hill to welcome all the new people? Was that, we talked about it, I think, 2 years ago. We could be doing an event like that where it's a welcoming to the community event instead.
Sponsor that, but just, I think this citizens welcome package was somebody moves to town, sort of a package with what's businesses, what services are in town, so that they have all of that. And I think you were gonna go talk to the chamber about putting something
Yeah,
like that.
they don't have anything like that ready at the moment. But I think we need to also look beyond the chamber to see all the different ways in which we can no, go ahead.
I think any new citizen in this community, whether they work at the hospital, teacher, car dealership, is just as important. And it's something that, I remember talking about this back then, and that's what that was for. Was basically a welcome package from council to a new citizen that moved into the community to either live and work, whether at the college or the hospital or wherever it was. That's what that was designed for. That was the idea behind that.
And I know we had talked about lots of chambers in various towns do work on some of that stuff too, to promote their businesses, good things.
Do we give them a send-out package when they move away to
And maybe we need to put that more with, and I hate suggesting more committees, but economic development, because that is part of retaining people here, and it's part of the economic development of our community.
It doesn't matter what we categorize it under, it's an agenda item that we wanted to do, right? That was, whether you call it there, or it's under citizens, a way of engaging our citizens. You could argue which category, but we still want to get it done. Are you going to follow up on this, or is it with the chamber or not?
I will check with the chamber on it, but I think that
Well, let's leave it
I
at
also
that.
need input from each of the councillors on this, on what they think would be appropriate to put into a package such as the mayor's letter or things like that. And not just leave it strictly up to what the chamber wants. I think it's, as Arlene said, it's from the council on behalf of the citizens, so I would like some input from this council, what you would like in it, so I can come with something to the table. Okay?
A new car?
Years ago, I think it was the chamber, or maybe it was FCSS, one of the two. They did have welcome packages. They had the bag, had like little brochure of FCSS, clinic,
Coupons,
yes,
Recreation
recreation,
opportunities,
cute
that
business
kind of
coupons.
stuff. It was,
business coupons.
yeah, and, you know, coupons for A&W or whatever. I'm not sure who that was through though. Like, I don't know if that was through the chamber or if it was through FCSS.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I know the last time when we talked, the thought was it came from the chamber, and that's why we had identified the chamber as to follow up with them.
Yeah.
That was our feeling last time, but I don't know the answer for sure.
Well, Donna's come up with some really good ideas, and if you can email me those ideas of what you remember and what Arlene you want, and Julie, what you think would be appropriate. Of course, I can't send Debbie or Michael, but send me the stuff, and then we can figure out a way to put it together. So there's not like a huge package, but it's something that's gonna be appropriate to make them feel at home. Even if it's something like a couple swim passes, just to get entered into the pool, or something like that.
That's a great idea. Great idea. And how do you know when people move in? How do you know when somebody moves into town?
They have to come in and get their utilities changed over, usually, unless they come in to rent and it's already staying under somebody else's name. But for the most part, a lot of rentals have to change utilities too, right? Or is that correct?
So this is a welcome wagon for people that are tax based, that are paying
Yes.
taxes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, right? Think of that.
Maybe, you know, maybe we could have forms even at the library, because the library is one of the first places they go. And ask, no, seriously, one of the first places a lot of families go is to the library.
What?
And if we could have forms there that just say, or a little poster in certain places like Friesens and the library and that just say, are you new to town? Contact this, and then that would be another way that we don't miss people, even if they're just renters, as opposed to tax base. Because we don't want to miss anyone, because, go ahead.
Yeah, it has to be a voluntary thing. It can't be just because you sign up for your utilities that I want someone coming knocking on my door. You know what I mean? It's gotta be, I know what you're saying, but some people just want their privacy. They just wanna come here, so
I don't think this is knocking on their door. When they come in to sign up for utilities, you would give them the package.
yeah,
Thank you.
I just don't want it to be forced
Thank you.
on them.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just, they give you the
Brian,
contact,
is
you
it
phone
for
them,
a couple hours?
if you have the poster up, they're the ones who act on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got, as the, when will you get back to us on that? And when we do the chamber, and you can get back to us, just so we have a date?
I'm
You guys just
thinking,
have a meeting?
actually, no, we did not. I just have a meeting. We'll just say that, as you know, with the chamber was sort of hijacked for the federal election just recently, in that sense that this election is taken priority over the meeting this month. So I can get it on the next agenda, and then I can give you a better idea.
Okay, roughly when is that? What are we looking at?
The next meeting would be next month.
So it's November,
So
so.
I'll try to get
December
something.
sometime,
I'll try to give you something.
December.
Yeah, because the chambers will be working with beautification on Christmas in November, but I'll try to squeeze it on the agenda.
Okay, moving on to development plan for recreation. We had down MMSA. Are they working on a recreation master plan for us? No.
Not yet, that'll be one of the projects that will give going forward.
Will that include a survey monkey on the 10-year revitalization of J.C. Park, which I've been trying to push for years?
We'll have to develop a set of questions to
Perfect.
go forward to see what citizens want to see in the park and how they want it developed.
Okay, I'm looking on this document and it says plan was completed under, oh, that's how we'll know if it was successful, the measurement as a plan, and we don't have a plan yet, so. So we had September of 19, what are we looking at as a new date? So, because we're not meeting that date.
You can expand on what we're gonna be doing with the meeting coming up to deal with this directly.
Well, we're talking about the, yeah, but we can get MMSA.
I know that's what, but, so we have a meeting coming up for recreation that deals with this directly.
Oh, okay.
So it's a meeting about this only,
Okay.
coming up in November. In November, that's dealing just with this plan.
Okay.
As far as the steps further and how we take it from the idea stage to.
And then it would go to MMSA, is that the thing to
Well,
develop?
Out of that meeting will be how to engage the public, how to, the different ideas on the table, and how to put it to the public on what the highlights of what they would like or not like, and so forth.
Do you think that your committee would be open to having a rep from MMSA or work with you on how to get this done, so that, because that's their business, so to work with you and help you with some of the questions you just asked?
Well, before we get that far, we have to figure out what we want first. As far as the committee, we don't even have that in place. Once we have that meeting, then we'll go forward with MMSA with Brian, and Brian can be the lead on with MMSA. Well, that's how it is.
Okay.
So we'll
And
just-
then we had ensure accountability, fiscal prudence, and town sustainability. Operational reviews, apply for grants, council and administration. I don't know, we haven't really, I mean, that's something that we do every day, all the time, in some ways. One of the things that we found out about at AUMA was that there was that one company that can do operational reviews, like a third party that could come in and review. So I asked them what it would cost, and they were like, they will do an operational review. And I picked recreation just because it was the one that you hear about most from the citizens, right? How come this, how come there's that many people there, and this and that. So they said that they would do a full operational review with recommendations and stuff. It would cost about $20,000. So
On
that's
one
something that we
department.
have to take, what's that?
On one department.
One department.
So-
We can have the whole town done, he said, for about 50.
So it would be 10,000 from us and 10,000 from the county.
Cheaper than losing a house.
So, yeah, I don't know, I put it out there because that's the one that you hear about the
Yeah.
most, is in terms of what I hear about the most anyways, is recreation. So keep that in mind when it comes to budget time, because that'll be one of our, something that we can talk about is an operational review. Any other things that we've been doing with that? It's sort of an everyday occurrence, right? This would be a one-time activity that would be different. Okay, moving on then to economic development. We've talked about connecting the town to broadband. That's still a high priority for our council.
Okay, but what else are we doing to attract businesses?
Well, that was the one that we've hit. That was the activity that we did. We talked about meeting with the county to discuss growth strategies. And that would be doing some of the other stuff like the visitor information center, right?
Can we make some sort of meeting? I know we had this once, but can we get a meeting with all the Porter regional partners, such as the Métis, the First Nation, the county, the town, all together to talk about potential economic development, since they all have investment in this town?
It's not a bad idea, but I don't know if we can get them here.
We can set the invitation out there and then ask them for one item, maybe for an agenda as well, so that they have something to say about it.
The CAO for Big Lakes tried to meet with them regarding the broadband issue, and they don't meet. They said it's like Golden Frog Terrace, except they just don't wanna meet.
You can go there
Yeah.
and talk to them, one-on-one, but to get them all to come in for something like this is very difficult. Because we did have a committee that was formed, it was in the last council that I was on, and it collapsed because we couldn't get the other partners to the table. I don't know how you do it. Like, I like the idea, we tried to do it, so unless we have some other way of getting them to the table, and what we have been able to successfully get them to the table at is when we have a concern that overlaps with them, for example, with West Fraser. They came and were supportive of that. Or Tolko, sorry, not West Fraser, Tolko. Yeah, that was when we were successful. But just to say, well, let's get together and talk about this, it was not successful. So, I'm not sure. Like, I like the idea, I'd love to do it, but how do we get them here? And so,
Would it be, I don't think it's on our committee list anymore, or do we have a committee list that dealt with that part of economic development? I thought one point we did have one, was it municipal sustainability or something like that we had on there before? And I thought that was supposed to be more toward,
They haven't met for,
I know, but we took that off, that was originally to do something like that. And
that was that committee.
and we were gonna refocus it though,
Yeah,
and we never did.
okay.
So I'm suggesting that if you give the authority, if the council wants to give the authority, then maybe we can work through our contacts at First Nations, get the right people, and at least attempt it one more time, and find out but before we do that, find out what their concerns are first, so we can then figure out how everybody can have a voice, as opposed to, because
That's exactly what we did. We
Yeah.
actually had a consultant come in and say, okay, we want to do this, and they showed up for one meeting and never came again. What do you guys want out of the meeting? What would get you to the table? And we came up with the terms of reference where we were going to meet once or twice a year, and after that first meeting, nothing. We'd have one community show up, and that was it. So, I don't know, like I say, I mean,
well, I'd like to give it a try, and I will admit that. I'd like to give it a try, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I'd like the authority of the council to go through you two, the CEO and the mayor, to then have the authority to go and contact the particular ones, not necessarily county first, but the First Nations ones, to see if we can get a meeting together. No harm, no foul here. At least we can try.
yeah, and we could talk to the county, maybe they've got another idea too, because they would be a key partner in all of that
Well,
also.
as I said, we could bring it in after we get some of the road groundwork done, but I'd like to,
Why don't
if-
we, Brian, if we can suggest, put that on the ICF, see if they have any ideas, and then together as a partner, we can work it, and if it works, then we'll go out. But we can try it again, because that was, like I say, it was probably 4 years ago now that it died. We can try it, see if we can get the county on board too, and then as long as we can get them on, I think it would be important as a first step, and then go from there. So we're adding something to our economic development, and that is, what do we have here? Economic report, revitalization document, So is this a new agenda, or action item is a meeting with county, and I'll just put it down in indigenous communities, eh? On
couple other ones as well. Use it as a foundation block for a few other things.
Well, that's exactly what this other one was for, so we can get it going, yes. But we'll start with one and see.
So that would
I
be
mean, they're
ICF.
concerned too that things are, you know, that this is their service center.
So the responsibility would be under the ICF?
Yep, that's the start to get the county on board, and then we can start going from there. So the other new sort of thing that's here, and it's come out of the ICF, is we need to work on a visitor information center too, and get that nailed down. Just on that one,
Is it on here?
no, it's not, but we do need to follow up on it. It's one of our sort of action items, I think.
We have a couple action items.
Yes, that's
So
true.
that's not today.
No. I was gonna update you that, did you hear anything back from Brett? He was gonna find out about the, no, okay. Because I did go to the library and asked about your concern, Donna, that we don't, like you said, that online visitor information centers don't work, because you had heard that, and she had said she had heard that from somebody in Edmonton, where they tried it, and then they went back to online and some more face-to-face, so they did an and they found that worked better. So I gave that information to Brett, who was going to follow up on it with that person and find out why it didn't work and what we might be able to do here and gather some more information. So, okay. Moving on to, so we know we've got our broadband. We know we're going back to phase 1 again and doing the pilot project for next year, so we're all up to date on that. Further growth for businesses and citizens, service existing land in West End subdivision. Yearly.
I think we scrapped that because of the cost.
Okay, so we're not, all right. Last meeting, the suggestion was made by our treasurer that we start setting aside money if we have any future plans for development. Are we going to put that in the budget? Because right now, this has nothing to do with any setting aside any money at all. Are we going to start setting aside any money for future development, either for the West End or some other project that we would have? Because that wasn't the advice.
Well, and we are going to look at that when it comes to the budget, because that'll be a big factor in how much we can put aside. So yes, that's a good, I think it's a good idea, is to set aside some money, but we have to make sure that we can fit it in with our existing costs, and we'll know that when we talk about budget. All right. Economic growth, twice a year meeting with county council to just discuss growth strategies. Did we do that? First meeting before September 2019?
No.
No.
We met, but it was informal.
That's
Yeah.
right. You guys, I missed that one. You just had an
We didn't
informal-
talk shop.
You just had a supper date, didn't you?
Yeah, it was an informal
Does
meeting.
that count for this? Probably not.
No.
Okay.
The one at the P Vine?
I don't remember any discussions on it.
Yeah, you
Growth.
Have- And we said that we would know if this was successful if we had 2 new businesses in 2019.
Do we? We do. We have the marijuana shops.
Yes. That's right.
Two businesses. Absolutely.
That is 2 new businesses. did sort of achieve it. We didn't go, and a lot of that isn't anything that we did, other than creating a welcoming environment for any new businesses. That's what we can do.
Any new business is good.
Any legal mortgage establishment, come on in.
Okay. I wonder how we should work, like we talked about meeting with the county. Oh, wait, okay.
I just think with the number of meetings that we've had with the IDP and the ICF, that
Yeah,
we kind of got pushed aside because we have been meeting lots with them
yeah.
in the last year or so.
And those are wrapping up, so it might be a good chance to say we need to talk about these other things and getting them moving to, like the visitor information center and this, we can talk about economic development.
Because realistically with the county, other than the county members that I share board seats with, I don't talk to any other councilors there with the county. It seems like all ones that I'm involved with are the same guys. So I don't know any of the other councilors. I know of them, of course, because they're in our community, but I very seldom ever see them or meet them or talk to them. So I think a combined meeting where we sit and, you know, however platform you use, I think it's worth having whether it's informal or formal or however you want to do it. It's still healthy to get to know.
We owe them a supper because they took us out.
Absolutely, and that's where I was gonna go with that, right? So it's something that I think needs to happen still, and have that relationship, because there's lots of